Have you ever felt unqualified, afraid, or unsure when faced with a calling far bigger than yourself? In this week's lesson, The Burning Bush, we journey into the life-changing encounter between Moses and God, where a simple shepherd is called to become a deliverer. When God calls us, it is for the best. Most of all, we'll discover that when God calls, He also equips. And even when the path looks difficult, His way is always the best way. The topic for this week's Sabbath school lesson is the burning bush. The memory text is taken from Exodus chapter 3 verses 7 and 8. It says, "And the Lord said, I have surely seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. So I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up from that land to a good and large land, to a land flowing with milk and honey." What significance can be found in the fact that the Lord introduced Himself to Moses as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? After Moses turned aside to look at the miracle of the burning bush before him that was not consumed, the Lord presented Himself to Moses as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Exodus chapter 3 verse 6. God promised these patriarchs that their descendants would inherit Canaan. Moses already knew about this promise, and with God introducing Himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, He was opening the way for Moses to know what was coming and what crucial role he was to play. How did God explain to Moses why He wanted to intervene on behalf of the Israelites enslaved in Egypt? God explained to Moses that He had heard their cry and was concerned. Exodus chapter 2 verses 23 to 25. He called them my people. Exodus chapter 3 verses 7 and 10. They were God's people. What task was given to Moses by God? So now, go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people the Israelites out of Egypt. Exodus chapter 3 verse 10, NIV. How is Moses' character revealed in his response to God upon his call? There is an indication of Moses' character of humility in his response to God's call. He has a sense that he is unworthy of what he is being called to do. Why did Moses ask God the question, "What is your name?" Moses' question to God, "What is your name?" is a query about the deeper meaning of the name, Yahweh. What does the name, Yahweh, point to? The name, Yahweh, points to the fact that He is the personal God, the God of His people, the God of the covenant who intervenes in human affairs. What does it mean to proclaim God's name? To proclaim God's name is to teach others the truth concerning God and the salvation that He offers to all who come in faith. As Joel says, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Joel chapter 2 verse 32, NKJV. What lessons can we take for ourselves from Moses' call? When God calls us, there is already provision to supply anything that may be lacking. We simply have to trust and obey God when He calls us. Why did the Lord seek to kill Moses? From the context of the story, the Lord sought to kill Moses because his youngest son was not circumcised, but Zipporah, Moses' wife, took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of his son. What important lesson can be learned from the Lord seeking to kill Moses? An important lesson that can be learned from the Lord seeking to kill Moses is that we should never fail to do what we know is right. In conclusion, we should trust God and obey His call. Whenever God calls us, there is already provision to supply any lack. May God help us to trust and obey Him, knowing that His route is the best for our lives. In Jesus' name.